Mom, help!
Those words caught me off guard. Here was my daughter Stacy, wet from the rain at our doorstep. And there was Carl, my husband, who should have been home. I had always thought we were living the dream after marriage, but now I'm suspecting Carl's hiding something. Well, he's not the only one with plans. I'll get to the bottom of this. I'm Maria, 34, managing a restaurant. I met Carl when he dined at my place, and we tied the knot when I was 25. Fast forward to now, and we're a family of 3, with Stacy, who's 7. Carl's job at a major company treats us pretty well, from dinners out, vacations, to even buying a house once our daughter arrived. It seemed like we were living the good life. But that perception changed one particular day. My restaurant gig often means working weekends and holidays. Carl would step in, looking after Stacy and whipping up simple meals. I had peace of mind heading to work. Then came that one Saturday post-summer break. A big storm was brewing, and I anticipated a quiet day at the restaurant. With delays in public transport and few patrons showing up, I thought of my staff's safety and decided to wrap up early. Heading home was challenging with the rain pelting down and gusty winds. Our home is located in a quiet residential area, about 20 minutes away by car. It's a house we renovated with great care. Whenever I see the lights of our home, I always feel relieved. But this time, it was different. Finding Stacy drenched outside was a shocker. "Stacy!" When I shouted out to her, she looked up.
Mom, help!
I rushed to her, leaving behind my umbrella and bag. "What happened? Why are you out here?" She clung to me and said,
I went out the door and got locked out.
Our door auto-locks, and she couldn't recall the code. But still, "Where's Dad? He should be here, right? What on earth is he doing?" I felt anger rising.
After eating lunch, I got sleepy and took a nap. When I woke up, Dad was gone. I thought he might be outside, so I stepped out, but the door locked behind me.
What's going on? First things first, I got Stacy cleaned up and both of us warmed up with cocoa. Carl was still MIA. His shoes weren't at the entrance, so he's probably out. Did Dad say he was going somewhere?
No, he didn't say anything. He was just gone when I woke up.
This is taking too long for just a shopping trip. I called his cell.
"Hello? What?"
Surprisingly, he answered immediately. Holding back my frustration, I calmly asked, "Where are you right now?"
"Huh? Where? I'm at home with Stacy. Why?"
His response left me momentarily confused. He was definitely not telling the truth. But why? Is there something he's not sharing?
"What happened? Did something come up?"
I really wanted to ask him that very question, but I held back and instead said, I might be running late today. Is Stacy doing okay?"
"She was sleeping when I checked. Oh yeah, she's good. I've got everything under control."
Something felt off. I made up my mind. "Okay, thanks for looking out for her."
"All right, take care."
I opted to take Stacy to my mother-in-law Karen's house. It's just a short walk from ours. We often rely on her, especially since my own family is far away. She's been living alone since her husband passed a few years back and always enjoys our visits. With my husband at work and Stacy out of school, Karen's been our go-to for childcare, especially this summer. Despite my impromptu call, she kindly offered to whip up dinner. Karen's years working at a diner made her a fabulous cook. I've always been a fan, especially as a fellow restaurant worker. The storm has subsided by the time Stacy and I headed out. Upon our arrival, Karen jumped right in. "Maria, what's going on? What happened?" I was momentarily taken aback. "Huh?" I first thought she was referencing the earlier events, but she seemed to hint at something else. "Carl popped by earlier in a hurry asking to borrow money." "What?" "He said it was urgent and he'd fill me in later, then dashed off." "He did?" "You and Stacy are okay, right?" "We're both fine." "Were you aware he needed money?" "I had no clue. How much did he borrow?" "I gave him $3,400. $3,400? That's a significant amount. I know he has savings. What could have gone wrong?" Borrowing from her, even after dipping into his savings, indicates something major. Could it be? Karen trailed off, looking worried. What are you thinking? Did you spot anything unusual about my son recently? Actually, that's precisely why I'm here. I filled her in on the recent events. When I got off work early, I found our daughter outside in the rain and my husband nowhere in sight. When I rang him up, he insisted Stacy was right there with him. That's definitely weird. Hold on, what are you implying? I hate to say it, but there's something I've kept from you. Spill it. Some time ago, he got deep into gambling. He drained his savings and even considered borrowing from some shady characters. Are you serious? This was the first time I was hearing about any gambling since our wedding. I had always seen him as someone who'd steer clear of trouble, so I fully trusted him. Once he met you, he seemed to have put aside his gambling issues and saved diligently for your marriage. I believed that settling down and having Stacy changed him, but lately he's been dropping Stacy here on weekends, claiming he's swamped at work. That's starting to make more sense now. Hold on, what are you saying? Carl usually enjoys his weekends off. I always assumed that when I was at work, Stacy was at home with him. You didn't know? He's dropped her off here quite a bit recently, saying work's been crazy. Turning to Stacy, I asked, You were at home with Dad while I was working, right? She hesitated before replying.
Sometimes we came to Grandma's.
Why didn't you mention this?
Daddy told me not to.
Oh, come on. Karen let out a heavy sigh. He's fallen back into his gambling ways, deceiving his parents and his wife. Worse yet, he had exposed our daughter to potential harm. She could have gotten seriously sick if she'd been caught in that rain any longer. I'm so sorry. Don't blame yourself, Karen. The responsibility is all Carl's. But I helped raise him, and I missed the signs of his return to gambling. After thinking for a bit, she said, We should give him a reality check. Stay here tonight, Maria.
A sleepover at Grandma's? Yay!
Stacy exclaimed. As I cleaned up after dinner, Stacy, who was engrossed in a TV show with Karen, called out,
Mom, your phone's ringing.
Got it. After drying my hands, I saw my husband was calling. Hello?
Maria, Stacy's missing.
His voice was filled with panic. What do you mean missing? You told me she was home with you.
I can't find her anywhere.
What? Didn't you stay home? Weren't you with Stacy?
She's just not here.
But you were with her, right?
She was napping and I just...
He stuttered. Spit it out. What happened?
What should I do?
Did you leave her alone at the house?
Not exactly, but...
So you're freaking out because she's not there? She wouldn't go out on her own in that rain unless she woke up, freaked out, and realized you left her. He seemed taken aback. You left, didn't you?
I just went to a nearby store. I wasn't sure when you'd get back, so I went to pick up some groceries.
And that took hours?
No, just 10, maybe 20 minutes.
Are you aware of how long Stacy was waiting outside in the rain?
What?
She was stuck outside during the downpour. That could have ended horribly.
Wait, what?
His voice was incredibly loud.
What are you talking about?
I closed my restaurant early because of the storm. When I got home, you were gone and Stacy was drenched, huddled by the front door.
I had no idea.
How long ago do you think that was? Just head to the hospital now.
Hospital? Is Stacy there?
If she had gotten seriously ill, it would have been on you.
I'm on my way, but can you lend me some money for a cab?
Seriously? Don't you have that much on you?
I lost my wallet.
It was clear he was just spinning more lies. If you lost your wallet, you wouldn't have been able to get in the house. Your card key is always in there.
I used the PIN, but...
You've always said you didn't want to bother with a PIN.
Ugh.
Just own up to it. You were broke, right?
I had some unexpected bills.
What unexpected bills?
I had to get some stuff. Where's the hospital?
I gave him Karen's address and ended the call. I smirked, imagining his confused expression. He showed up quickly, out of breath.
Stacy, is she alright?
She's over there. I pointed to the bathroom and she gave a little wave while brushing her teeth.
Oh, hi, Daddy. Where were you? Were you at work?
When I confronted my husband about it, his response was,
You set me up.
Set up? Who's been playing who? I snapped back, waiting for Karen to escort Stacy to bed. When did you even start?
Start what?
Gambling.
Ugh.
Lying won't help you now.
Fine, so what if I did?
You think this is okay? Spending our savings, lying to your own mother to borrow money? Can you even pay her back? He then suddenly snapped.
What's the big deal? I just lost today, but usually I win. All those nice dinners, trips. You, enjoyed them, didn't you?
Those were all from your gambling wins?
Yeah, and you benefited too. I don't see why you're so upset now.
So you've been doing this for years now. All these years of lies.
I just didn't think I needed to tell you.
I wouldn't mind if you had a hobby outside of work, but gambling to the point where you lie, borrow money, and put our child in danger? That's unacceptable. His dismissive attitude frustrated me even more. As we continued our argument, Karen handed him a document.
Carl, sign this.
What?
His face went white.
Are we really taking divorce over a little gambling?
I had filled them out earlier. She could have died.
But she just got wet from the rain.
But if Maria hadn't come home, she could have been out there for hours. Do you get that?
I didn't think she'd be outside.
The problem is you left the house for hours while she was asleep.
I didn't mean to.
If you can't look out for our child, maybe it's best if you split up with Maria.
What?
While he muttered something, Karen firmly handed him the divorce papers to sign.
This is how it'll be. I keep the papers and you're not coming home until every penny is paid back.
What the?
If you can't pay up, these papers are getting filed.
All right, just hold off on that.
The ball's in your court and it's up to Maria and Stacy to decide if they can forgive you.
Having her support meant the world to me. My husband was clearly distressed, and I figured out it wasn't just a $3,400 debt to his mom that weighed him down. Turns out he owed big to friends and other acquaintances. That debt kept him swamped at work and away from the gambling tables, especially under Karen's watchful gaze. Meanwhile, Stacy and I thrived without him around. Honestly, life felt easier, and sometimes I wondered if we were better without him. Besides, Stacy could spend time with her dad over at Karen's. The idea of permanently parting ways crossed my mind, but severing ties with Karen, such an ally and support, wasn't an option. Plus, she adored her granddaughter. Food became our bridge to communicate. Stacy showed a keen interest in cooking, so I began teaching her the ropes. Amidst these days, I began contemplating leaving my job. Not to become a stay-at-home mom, as I loved working in the restaurant, and had a mortgage to consider. Instead, I dreamt of opening my own small cafe. Our house, spacious with a beautiful garden, seemed ideal. I thought about converting a part of it into a cafe. So, as Stacy moved up in school, I brought my dream to life, turning a part of our home into a bustling cafe. Its popularity soared, thanks to Stacy's helping hand after school and Karen's delightful cooking. People especially came back for Karen's daily specials. Our days were a blend of cafe talks, brainstorming sessions, and pure joy. Stacy seemed happier with me around all the time. When my husband finally settled his debt and came home, he seemed a mere shadow of his former self. There were still debts, and he considered quitting his job to pay them off with his severance. As long as he stays away from gambling, we should be good. Forgiveness isn't on the table just yet. Maybe I'll let him handle the dishes to teach him a lesson or two.